Okay, hello everyone. So hopefully this will work. Anyways, I am Jamie, your knitting teacher at Freddy's Cringe School of Threadcraft and Clownery. And today we're going to be learning how to knit. So the supplies you'll need are yarn. This is a very small ball. I've just picked it because it's pretty thick as far as the yarn I have in my room. And a pair of, for me, circular knitting needles. For you, they probably be straight knitting needles like these, because, I mean, that's what people usually tend to use. I'm just using these because they're easier for me. It really does make a difference. Okay, so first step in knitting is casting on. So that means just getting a row of stitches on the needle. So first step in that is making a slip knot. So for those unfamiliar with what that means, go through the motions of making a pretzel knot, except don't pull the yarn all the way through. Like this. By pulling on one or the other, you should be able to tighten or loosen the slip knot, and you should put one of your needles through the slip knot and tighten it until it is fairly snug on the needle, but still easy to move around. Okay, now that you got that done, one end of the yarn will be referred to as the tail. This is the end of the yarn that is closest to the end. For this method of casting on, we do not need this, so just take it aside. And we are concerned is the working end of the yarn. It is right up here on the one part that connects to the ball. So what you want to do with casting on is just take the yarn over your palm and come from the outside of your thumb to the inside, like so, and take the needle up, and just like that, and then that makes a loop on the needle, and so now we have 2 loops on the needle. So I'm going to do it again, 3 loops on the needle, and I'm going to do this till I have 30 loops on the needle. So 4, 5, Okay, so now I have 30 loops on my needle. They are fairly close together. It probably helps you if you space them out a bit. So now that you've got all your stitches on the needle, you are ready to start. So you want to take this method of, this is where I go on a tangent about how this method of knitting works whether you're a righty or a lefty. Personally, I am right-handed, but my twin is left-handed, and it's the exact same way that I do. It's because this is an unconventional way of knitting, but it works. So you want to take the needle with the stitches on it in your left hand, and you want to get the stitches fairly close to the tip of the needle. then you want to take the empty needle in your right hand. So what you want to do is you want to take the empty needle. I'm going to do this backwards so that y'all can see what you need to do. But you want to take the empty needle up and to behind the left needle, right? And that's what it looks like from the top. And then you want to wrap your yarn around it. And take, hold on. You want to wrap your yarn around the empty needle and take that new loop of yarn through the old loop, the exact same way that you came through down. So that's going to be down to the front. And hold on, this is hard for me because I'm doing it backwards. And when you've done that, it's basically locked through the old loop. So you can just take the old loop off the needle. And about this, the thing about this new loop is that you want to make sure that it's not wrapped so tight around the needle that you can't move it, okay? So I'm not going to do backwards this time because that's very difficult for me. So you just want to take your needle through the loop, wrap yarn, take it back down through, and then when the stitch is locked, just take the old stitch off, okay? And be careful that the tension you have is loose enough that you can just slide it easily along the needle. And it really is easier for you guys to see what I'm doing if I'm doing it backwards. So I'm going to try to do it backwards again because this is for y'all. Okay, so up through the bottom and behind, wrap the yarn, down through the front, and then just off the needle. Okay, and then just keep doing that. Try not to go through the yarn, like when you're knitting. Try not to like split the yarn like this. See if that'll. Like. Come on, oh come on. Just see how this needle is like going through the yarn. You don't want to do that. Like, you might think it doesn't matter, but it does. So, try not to do that. Yeah, and it's really simple. You just do that over and over again until you get to the end of your 30 stitches. And I'm faster when I'm doing it the proper way, so I'm just gonna speed through that. I do need to get to the end of this row because there's something I just want to clarify what happens at the end of the row. And something to keep in mind as you are knitting, don't wrap the yarn so tightly around the needle that it's difficult to move. It's okay if you knit really, if the stitches are wrapped really loosely around the needle. Just the important part, you should be able to move them. Yeah? And it'll be far easier if you do that if you keep your work fairly close to the ends of your needles. Like, a lot of times when I first teach people how to knit, they'll knit like this and go like that. And it's just incredibly awkward and painful to watch. You don't want to do that. You want to keep your work close to the end of the needle, close to the tip. And okay, we're at the end of the row here. And there's nothing more for you to knit, so you just switch the hand. And at this point you have to be careful that you're not knitting with the tail. But just switch the hands and go right back into it. And that's it. Keep at it, keep trying, and tomorrow I will upload a lesson on how to purl, which that's a different kind of stitch. And we'll be using the same work from today. All right, I don't have a slogan to say. Like, comment, and subscribe if there's anything, if you would prefer that I film from a different angle, I will figure out how to do that. If you would prefer a live stream, I did try to live stream this like 3 times, but it did not work. I kept getting taken down for copyright infringement. I don't know, but yeah. So goodbye, everyone, and stay healthy. Wash your hands.